In this video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of a short film I recently shot. I'll show you how we turned a plain room into a cinematic movie scene and break down the lighting step by step. What did I need to create this short film? Just one location, one actor, and this lighting setup. Big thanks to Godox for supporting the project and providing such a versatile lighting kit. But first, let's watch the teaser.
The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Up came the sun and dried up all the rain. Itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again.
First shot, Olivia's routines. Here's how we recreated the look step by step. One, we blocked the outside light with black cloth, leaving only a narrow gap for our key beam. 2. I used two Godox C10R bulbs as practicals, both set to 28% intensity at 3,300 Kelvin. This created a warm texture in the room. 3. Our main source was the Godox Nold M300R with a standard reflector. It was placed on the balcony and pushed through the gap, creating a narrow slash of warm light. The light was set to 16.8% intensity at 3,300 Kelvin with a slight -2 magenta shift, mimicking direct sunlight. 4. For gentle fill, I used a Godox RS60R with a diffusion dome, positioned slightly above and to the side of the subject. It was set to 47% intensity at 5,600 Kelvin, imitating cool skylight. 5. White balance was set to 4,500 Kelvin to balance warm and cool tones, creating a natural contrast. For the evening setup, I kept the same overall scheme but turned off the key light. Instead, I added a Godox RS60R with a snoot, placing it slightly behind and above the laptop to mimic the glow of the screen. I set it to effects mode with the TV effect, kept the intensity at just 1%, and used CCT mode with a speed set to 61%. That gave me a nice, subtle flicker that really felt like light coming off the laptop. To balance it out, I used another RS60R with a diffusion dome as fill, set to 10% at 5,600 Kelvin. For the night scene, I wanted to create something warm and moody. I started with a Godox C10R bulb as a practical, set to 5% intensity at 3,300 Kelvin, to add a subtle rim light and motivate the key. My main source was the Godox Now LED M300R with a 90cm parabolic softbox and grid placed in front of the talent just above eye level. I kept it very soft and subtle, around 0.3% at 3,600 Kelvin with a slight green shift of +3. Another Godox C10R practical was set at 13% intensity at 3,300 Kelvin, adding more warmth to the scene. For a touch of fill, I used an RS60R with a diffusion dome behind and to the side of the subject, set to 0.1% at 4,500 Kelvin. To add a hint of separation on the hair, I brought in another RS60R with a small octabox and grid above the subject, again at 0.1%, but at 4,100 Kelvin. The camera's white balance throughout was set to 4,500 Kelvin. When it came time for the window scene, with Olivia looking out in darkness, I kept things minimal. I used two RS60Rs, the first with a small octabox placed in front, slightly above eye level, to give me a soft frontal glow and a nice catch light. That one was set to 2.7% at 4,000 Kelvin. The second, with a diffusion dome, was placed behind her just to bring out some details in the room and add texture. Finally, for the ritual scene, I relied heavily on practicals. The room was filled with candles of different sizes, and I used an RS60R with a diffusion dome behind Olivia to gently separate her from the background. That one was set to 0.2% at 2500 Kelvin with a slight green shift of +2. For the key, I added another RS60R with a small octabox with grid, positioned front right and slightly above her head, set at 0.1% and 2900 Kelvin. The phone screen and the candlelight themselves also contributed to the illumination on her face, which kept everything feeling natural and grounded. For this scene, I set the camera white balance to 3500 Kelvin. For the entire film, I relied on just 3 main lights in different combinations, along with 2 Godox C10R bulbs used as practicals. The balance of the M300R's power and the RS60R's versatility gave me the freedom to shape any look I needed. I was really impressed by the sleek, detailed design of the Godox RS60R2 kit, and honestly surprised by how versatile this kit turned out to be. I think I used it in almost every scene. These 2 little lights handled so many different tasks, from simply filling the space to serving as a key light. The Godox Nald M300R is the most professional light I've ever worked with, and I was genuinely happy to have it on this project. It helped me light a day scene where I needed a powerful source to mimic direct sunlight. And it also worked beautifully for dark, moody scenes. I could dial it down to just 0.1 intensity to add the slightest touch of light without breaking the night atmosphere. I feel lucky to have tools that let me push creativity without compromise. At the end of the day, it's not about how much gear you have, but how you use it to tell a story. And that's exactly what this shoot proved.
Itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again.